Welcome to the second video in my free video series about taking back the power in your healthcare. I'm Dr. Christiane Northrup, a board-certified OBGYN physician. I've dedicated my entire career to helping women realize what can go right with their bodies. As we discussed in the previous video, most of the rest of our world, our healthcare system, friends, industry, family, etc., focuses on what can go wrong. The other day I was harvesting carrots out of my garden and I just posted a little thing on Instagram and someone says, "You better watch out for ticks. They can jump out in those low-lying shrubs." And I thought, that is not what I'm worried about. I just want to make sure I get the carrots out before the ground freezes. And they were the best carrots in the world and there wasn't a single tick. Anyway, the fear that this inspires makes us feel like we're taking a huge risk if we deviate from the norms. Giving up this power over our bodies has had a major impact, especially on women's health. Women don't even know the basics of their own anatomy or what's being done to it. We've become completely disconnected from our bodies. I've talked to women who've had surgery and asked if they had their ovaries removed and they didn't know. Or if they've just had one ovary removed, they don't know which one it was. When I ask them what prescription they're taking, they often don't know the name or the dose, instead just saying it's the red pill or I'm just taking what the doctor prescribed. This is actually one of the things that inspired me to write the first edition of Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom back in 1994. And it's what's led me to update it every few years since its original publication. I truly believe that living in a female body can be enormously fun and pleasurable as long as you know how to work with it. One of the big topics I discussed in Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, and that I talk about in every seminar I teach, is that your body has what I call an inner guidance system. Your body knows what's good for you and what's bad for you. And I'm not just talking about foods you eat or if you take a pill or not, though it can definitely help you with those things. But your body can actually guide you in all areas of your life. Think about it. If someone asks you to do something, maybe it's about taking on an extra shift at work or going to a carnival or even getting dinner. But when they ask, you often get a physical response in your body. Maybe your stomach drops or maybe you feel energized. These are signs from your body about a decision, even though that decision has nothing to do with your body. Our inner guidance directs us toward things that are most life-enhancing and life-fulfilling for us. Following this guidance can be life-saving in medical situations as well as life-enhancing in daily situations, even those as minor as choosing what to wear. So if you want to feel empowered to take control of your health, you must learn to hear what your body is saying. Our inner guidance system is mediated via our thoughts, emotions, dreams, and bodily feelings. Our bodies are designed to act as receiving and transmitting stations for energy and information. Living in touch with our inner guidance involves feeling our way through life using all of ourselves, mind, body, emotions, and spirit. But as I've said, we've become so disconnected from our bodies. We don't know how to hear or listen to these signs. So you have to learn how to tune into what your body is telling you. So how do we do this? This is again going to be something we do in a practice in this video and then with some experiments after it's over. Our in-the-moment practice is super simple. So take a moment right now to sit quietly, just experience your body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like be in it, right? Just be in it, sink in. What do you notice? Do you have pain anywhere? Are you having problems holding still? Do you feel like your energy is really low? Do you feel like crying? Just take a moment here. All of these things you're noticing right now are your body talking to you. And keep in mind, your body doesn't only talk when you're out of sorts. When you have pep in your step and feel joyful, remember that's also your body talking. So now that you've taken some time to experience your body, you've probably noticed some things that are less than ideal. And once you notice them, you now have a chance to respond to them. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to know exactly why something is happening in your body in order to respond to it and then change it. Why? Because thoughts held over time become beliefs, and beliefs become our biology. And so, to change our biology, we have to change our thoughts. And this over time. will install much healthier beliefs and a healthier biology. You don't need to know why your stomach hurts or why you feel like crying. Understanding comes after you've allowed yourself to experience what you're feeling. So if you're feeling off balance, just be with that feeling. Allow it to come up. After you've done that, take a moment. Go back over the events of the last few hours or days. One time, a couple years ago, one of my colleagues said, "I need a break." And she dropped a log on her toe. And she got a break all right. But that wasn't the kind of break she was looking for. And that's why I want you to be mindful about this so that you don't need to break something literally to get a break. If you're feeling sick, reflecting on recent events may give you a clue about what preceded the symptoms, and that gives you insight on what might help them. Taking a nap is always a good idea. Then you shift something. Responding to discomfort can be simple or complex, but when I was in college, my sophomore year, I was feeling very depressed, and it didn't help that I was in Cleveland and hadn't seen the sun for days. It was cold and rainy. I had to go to the library to find a book of poetry so I could write a critique on Ode on a Grecian Urn by Keats. I had no idea what my professor wanted me to say, and I had no idea what the poem was about. Walking back from that library with an armload of books, sophomore year, sophomore slump, I momentarily considered throwing myself in front of a car. I'm not kidding. I was that down. But then the next minute I thought, well, that wouldn't work. I'd probably just break my leg. Have to do the poem anyway, only now I'd have to, have a cast on and crutches. I went back to the dorm, called my parents at a bank of payphones. This was long before cell phones. And I poured out my tale of woe, how much I hated college and I was depressed and I didn't know what I was doing. And my father said, "Come home. No one's forcing you to stay there." And in that moment, something deep within me changed. I had a choice. I had always had a choice. And given that choice, staying became a much better choice than dropping out of college and going home to do heaven knows what. Something profound happened as a result of this. I almost never again had a classical migraine headache, a condition which had plagued me since puberty. I was even hospitalized for a week when I was about 13 for a big workup to be sure I didn't have a brain tumor. My migraines were a direct and very painful manifestation of the amount of pressure I put on myself to succeed academically. And the minute I realized I could release that pressure valve, the migraines, for which I had even taken narcotic shots occasionally, were a thing of the past. I know that this is a very dramatic example of the mind-body connection, but I have come to believe that pretty much all illnesses are a result of some kind of belief that has become physicalized. I have a good friend who was pretty much never sick a day in her life until she had a knee replacement. Her knees had always bothered her, and she had a chronically dislocating kneecap even as a young adult. Whenever she had to go in for post-op checks, she could barely walk. She would walk just fine at home, albeit slowly, because of the knee. But the minute she'd get out of the car to go in to see a doctor, any kind of doctor, her body would simply freeze. One time, her husband had to get a wheelchair to get her into the clinic for a stool sample. She finally asked me, "What is going on with my body? This is ridiculous." So I said to her, "Did anything happen to you at a doctor's office when you were a child?" And then she remembered. She was held down while the doctor cut a wart off her foot. It was very painful. She was only 4 years old. Obviously, that old memory and that wounded little girl were now coming up into her consciousness to be healed and loved. Sometimes things are much simpler. You get a pain in your neck, you realize you've been doing all the cooking, cleaning, and shopping while your partner's been watching TV every night for a week, not offering to help, because you have assumed that it's your job, not hers or his. And you haven't asked for help. The whole situation feels like, you got it, a pain in the neck. And indeed, it has manifested as such, or a pain in the ass for hemorrhoids. The minute you speak up, ask for help, get it, the pain instantly vanishes, or vanishes the minute you change your situation and at least become aware of what is a pain in the neck. The more often you tune into your body and the language you use around your body, the sooner you'll be able to tell when something is out of balance. That something needs to be addressed. Speaking of language, I told you this already when my colleague said, "I need a break." All right? Very, very often, I've had people say literally they thought their job was a pain in the ass and then they got a case of hemorrhoids. So remember, this isn't conscious. The body always wins. Why? Because the needs of the body always take precedence over the desires of the ego and the intellect. And as you respond to those signs, you'll soon create a correlation between events, symptoms, and what to do to fix it. And this is what will guide you to living the healthiest life you can. You'll know what to avoid, how to read your body, how to respond to it. You'll hear your body's whispers, which will hopefully prevent you from having to hear their screams, which come in the form of disease, broken bones, an accident, or chronic pain. So now, let's talk about your between video experiments. I'm going to give you 3 options, and you can choose which one feels right for you. All of these are simple practices that can help you tune into your body and help you start creating connections between cause and effect. Here's the first option, and I think it's a great choice if you often have neck or back pain. The first step is just what we did before, tune into your body. But this time, focus on an area of pain in your neck or back, and if you want, you can write down how you feel now. And don't just say something like it hurts. I want you to really describe the sensation. So something like, the right side of my neck has a dull ache all the time, and I can't fully turn my head to the left. When I try to, it sends a pain down my back that hits right at the top of my right shoulder blade. And honestly, my right shoulder blade feels a bit weak, but also a bit tense. Once you've done this, take about 10 minutes, and then I want you to roll and do a posture reset with a shoulder roll. So I want to show you how you're going to do this, okay? All right, I learned this from Esther Gokhale, who runs the Gokhale method of primal posture. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, ready? You're going to do a shoulder roll. First, I want you to make sure that your head is like a bobblehead. Take your fingers, go under the back of your skull, the occipital region, kind of pull up, send your shoulder blades down, send your clavicles wide, shoulder blades down, neck up. Now, just bobble your head as though you've got a string here, as though your head is floating. Now, for the shoulder roll, I want you to go up, forward, so forward, up, around, and back, and then just let it hang. Just let it hang. Let's do it with the other side. Forward, up, around, and back. Now, that is a tiny, tiny little adjustment that will adjust your neck, your cervical spine, your scapula, and everything. Just see how good that feels. Now, tune into your body and see if anything has changed. Just tune in. When I do this, it always feels so much better because the shoulder is designed to, see, we often get, from all the computer work, we often get shortening of the pectoral muscles here. So we get like this. And as you get older, you get like that. But you don't need to. So just start with shoulder rolls forward, up, and back. And check out the Gokhale method on YouTube or on her website. Now, what's the second option? Drink water, okay? I mean, that seems simple, right? What I do is you just drink water whenever you're hungry, because oftentimes you're dehydrated by the time you realize that you're thirsty. I'm liking these days distilled water, and I even bought a water distiller, but spring water. And if you add just a pinch of Celtic salt or Himalayan salt, just a little bit, then this will hydrate you better. Or chia seeds, a tablespoon of chia seeds, that's gel water, and that will begin to hydrate you. So in the morning, do something that's hydrating, like the first thing you get up in the morning, do some water. And every time, maybe carry around, I've read that we should be drinking about a gallon of water a day. I haven't gotten to that yet. But if you do a little water with a pinch of salt or chia seeds, you're going to find that that hydration will change everything. Now, tune in around noon. So you're going to start your day with, let's say, 16 ounces of water. Tune in around noon, see how you feel. Maybe more water during the afternoon, drink more water. Then before bed, tune in to how you feel. Again, I have seen lives change by hydrating yourself. And you can hydrate yourself with berries, gel water, celery. I use celery juice a lot. This is very hydrating. It doesn't have to just be plain water. In fact, plain water isn't the answer. You know how you've heard 8 glasses a day? No, 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 no. Read the book Quench. But in the meantime, pinch of Celtic sea salt in the water, drink it, more, maybe half your body weight in ounces per day. Just try it. Now, what's the final option? Breathing. Breathing. Okay, there's a thing called block breathing or 5-cycle breathing. And if you just do this for 5 different times, like 5 breaths, it'll change, it'll stop anxiety in its tracks. So you're going to breathe in for the count of 5, hold it for the count of 5, exhale for the count of 5, hold it again for the count of 5. Okay? And I learned this first from Robert Fritchie, but it's also taught in the military. So here we go. And breathe in through your nose, because that will get your parasympathetic rest and restore nervous system entrained. So here we go. Breathing in. That's 5. Hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then no breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, in for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat that 5 times. You will be amazed at how it just stops anxiety. It brings you into the present moment. It puts you in your body. It begins to digest stress hormones. And do it through your nose. Mouth breathing is a stress response. Okay? So remember, your body is a powerful partner for living a healthy and fulfilling life. It truly can guide you to events, activities, foods, movement, beliefs, anything else that will help you live your best life. So I suggest that you listen to this vehicle. Also, don't forget to come back for the next video, where we'll talk about the causes of health, and they're not going to be what you expect. I promise.